These are the 5 stages of college recruiting, and I actually stole this from a guy named Alex Hormozy. He talks about business. I don't know where he got it, but I think that it really applies to college recruiting, and especially how you feel throughout the whole college recruiting process. Because if you've been in the recruiting process at all, you know that it is an emotional roller coaster, to say the least. And so this is sort of laying out just the 5 phases of what this looks like and how it feels, and you can kind of see where you're at currently about the process, right? And so in the beginning, you have what's called uninformed optimism. This is where you haven't started the process yet. Maybe you're about to start and you're like, this is going to be awesome. Like, we're going to get wined and dined by these schools. They are lucky to even be looking at my kid, right? My kid's really good. We're going to have so many offers. It's going to be so fun to visit these schools. And you're just really, really excited, right? And this would be usually around the freshman or sophomore year mark, something like that, right? And so you don't really know that much about college recruiting, but you are optimistic that this thing is going to be awesome and it's going to go really well. So then what happens is you learn a little bit about the process, right? And you enter what's called informed pessimism. And so you say, this is actually harder than I thought it was going to be, right? And maybe things aren't going quite as easily as you really were hoping that they were going to go. And as you learn more about college recruiting, you start to have some doubts. You start to doubt your ability as a parent to help your kid achieve their goal. But you're still committed to the process, and you're still committed to figuring this out on your own. You're like, listen, we still have time. This is usually where someone says we still have time. Maybe you're in a sophomore or your kid is a junior, and you're like, all right, I can still figure this out. We can figure this out. We don't need to go get help. We'll be all right. And so you have this informed pessimism where you're like, all right, it's not quite as easy as I thought, but we're not, back against the ropes yet. We still have some time. So what happens next is that eventually you're in informed pessimism for long enough that you then enter the valley of despair. And the valley of despair is basically rock bottom. It's where you're like, listen, this is horrible. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing. We are no further in the process. Everything we've tried hasn't worked. We're not talking to anybody. We have no offers. We have no plan. We're completely overwhelmed. I'm so confused. Our coach said that he would connect us with schools. That hasn't happened. We're going to showcases. My kid is playing well at those showcases, but we're still not getting interest. You're like, this is my worst nightmare. You're like, this is not how I thought that this was going to go. Not that long ago, you were in uninformed optimism and you were so excited. And now you're at this point where like, I'm feeling the stress. You're like, we are running out of time. This might be junior year. It might be senior year. And you're like, we are running out of time. And I can feel my kid's dreams slipping away from me by the day. And this is the valley of despair. And so normally, this is where most people come to us, right? It's where most people come to us, they start working with us, and then we try to move them on to the next phase. And so that next phase is what's called informed optimism. So you are no longer, optimistically uninformed, but now you understand why this actually might work for you, right? You get a real plan from someone who has done this before. You start to put it into action, and then you see like a small win or two. Nothing major, right? Nothing major, but you feel a tiny bit of momentum, and you're committed to writing that out and seeing where it takes you. And so you start to feel much better because you have an actual plan. And it feels like that goal of getting your kid to somewhere that they want to go, a school they're excited about, that goal feels attainable again. When you were in the valley of despair, it does not feel attainable. It feels so far away and it feels like it's slipping through your fingers. And so in the informed optimism stage, you sort of get a grip on that goal again. You're like, wait, okay, we're actually moving in the right direction. This feels good, and it feels like we can still make this happen. And then eventually you reach the success stage, right? Where that plan has come to fruition. The plan that you put together in informed optimism has come to fruition, and you start to see real results. And you are well on your way to getting your kid to a school that they love. And the analogy that I like to use here is one where they actually want to wear the hoodie with the logo, right? They want to wear that to school because they are proud of it. The last thing you want is for your kid to go to a school where they don't even want to wear the logo to school because they're a little embarrassed by it. You don't want that. You want them going to a school where they're like, I wear this hoodie every day because I'm stoked about going to this school. And that is success, right? And so this is really the recruiting process. And so most people, like I said, most people come to us in the valley of despair. everything has just gotten so bad that they're like, all right, we need help. It's been so painful that they're like, all right, we just need to figure something out because what we're doing is not working. But then we also get some families who are in informed pessimism. They've tasted a little bit of failure and they're like, we do not want to taste anymore, right? And then we also get some families who are in uninformed optimism, but they want to get ahead of it, right? They're like, listen, I've heard of other people going through the process. Maybe they have been through it before and now they have another kid that's coming through and they're like, listen, we got to do something different than we did last time. And so these people want to get ahead of it. And so the thing about this is the earlier that you start in the process, the more time you have to really figure out all the little kinks in college recruiting and get a plan that's actually going to work. And so sure, we work with juniors and seniors. We have seniors who are second semester seniors, literally like as late in the process as you can get, and we've been able to get them interest, and that's awesome and that's great. But it's always easier when we can start a little bit earlier, right? When it's like, hey, we still have time. And so these are the 5 phases of college recruiting. I'll leave some links in the description below if you want some extra help or resources, and I will see you guys next time.